Panther Talk Radio. You're in to all things music.
Welcome to Rekt Reviews, movies and entertainment analysis using the latest in beer goggle technology. And here are your dubiously qualified hosts, Eric, Paul, and Shark.
Bow, bow, bow.
Hello.
Hey, hey.
Hey, guys.
What's up?
Wakanda forever.
Wakanda's family forever. If you guys can't tell, we're going to be reviewing.
Pink Panther.
I was going to say Deadpool, but, you know, whatever works.
Pink Panther. Bite your tongue.
You're offending his family right now.
I am T'Challa.
Oh, my God.
I would love to see the Black Panther versus Pink Panther.
That would be
make it spin-off.
a very good parody. I could see that happening.
It's an SNL skit waiting to happen.
Oh, I'm sure they'll get around to it.
But who would play the Pink Panther, though? Who do you see as playing
Steve Martin, if it's SNL, right?
Oh, well.
Because wasn't he in the Pink Panther?
Oh, the movie?
The
yeah,
remake?
he was like the
He was Clouseau.
Clouseau.
I said professor. You're
Professor.
a
Inspector Clouseau.
yeah, terrible.
Never seen it, so
Kato, you've never seen the Pink
no,
Panther?
the cartoons. I love the cartoons.
The original movies. You've never seen those?
No.
Those are so good.
You have never seen Peter Sellers be Inspector Clouseau?
No.
Oh my God!
I don't think I've seen one of those either.
See,
we need to have a retro Rekt.
Yeah. Go home tonight and download them and watch all of them.
No, I'm going to go home tonight and watch Black Panther again.
Kato? my favorite line from Pink Panther. When he goes, "Does your dog bite?" No. And he pets the dog and he bites him. He goes, "I thought you said your dog doesn't bite." The guy goes, "That is not my dog."
Classic.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Welcome to Rekt Review, and we're talking about Black Panther.
It's good to be back.
This is, and it's good to see Shark in a good mood for once.
I know.
A movie he
It's
enjoyed.
our first movie of the year, right?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
the first movie
I thought
review.
we did.
We did our yearly thing.
Oh, okay. That's
I
what
don't think we've actually reviewed it.
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
We did our year in review. And
Okay.
Then, but
I
this
saw Wind River, by the way. Really, really good.
Oh,
great
nice.
movie, very good movie. But this is the first one of 2018.
Yeah.
And I can't think of a better film for us to do.
You are such in a good mood. I love
Wait.
this.
I'll fix it. Shark, you realize it's all downhill from here the rest of the year. Nothing will measure up.
Yeah, we were just talking about May, and May's going to be rough.
Well, except for Deadpool, I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
The other two, one definitely not. The other one, I'm going to keep low expectations on.
I'm hoping that there's going to be some good underground stuff, that besides the blockbusters.
See, he doesn't sound happy anymore. You notice the tone change?
Oh, you totally did your job.
Maybe things will be better.
I predict
they
Deadpool
won't.
2 is not going to be great.
Deadpool 2 doesn't look great. But,
I cannot wait.
But I went in thinking that Black Panther was going to be terrible.
And you came out very happy.
I was like, it's going to be just like the rest of the Marvel films, but it wasn't like the rest of them at all.
He went straight to Target, bought the mask like I did, and the soundtrack like I did, and
I will get that mask. It will hang on my wall.
So you guys know I actually went to Target, and a grown-ass woman of 39 went to the toy section and bought a Black Panther light-up mask. But it was $16 in my defense.
That thing lights up?
Yeah, it does, actually.
Oh, wow.
Well, wait till they see.
Does it only light up when you get punched?
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah.
And then...
And then there's like
and then
little
it
visors.
redirects the energy back to her assailant.
Well, wait till they see the 52-year-old man in the toy section
that doesn't fit him at all.
Buying that same mask.
Oh, I could have taken you with me. We could have gone shopping together.
And don't think for a second, if I can't get a custom-made Black Panther suit for Halloween.
Dude, go on eBay. They're already out there right now.
Yeah, but they don't have my size.
Yeah, they do. They will make your size, guaranteed.
Look on Etsy.
That's true. Ooh,
There'll be one there.
Nice.
Okay, what's everyone drinking?
What are we drinking?
We're all beer buddies today.
We are all drinking the same thing. Except I brought my own.
Well, actually, Miss Amy has something different.
I went fancy as fuck today. So I got this Crispin Rose hard cider, right? The bottle's super fancy. Actually,
I believe
it's
that's
really
pronounced
good.
rosé.
Okay, just because there's an apostrophe.
There's an apostrophe.
Whatever.
It's wrong.
That's
Well, if you want to be fancy as fuck, you gotta say
I mean,
right?
I guess if I want to be
Fancy
fancy
as
as fuck,
fuck.
I would have bought like a $200 bottle of like Jimmy Walker.
Would you like
or
some
something
rosé,
like that.
Keto?
Oh, but anyway, so I went the hard cider route tonight. What about you guys?
We're all drinking Duckzilla double white IPA from
Double white
Duckfoot.
IPA.
Apparently they're canning now.
Yeah, I went in there today. I saw the cans. I was like, hallelujah.
It's a very good beer.
It is.
Yeah, I like it.
Is it like light or is it like?
Nope.
No.
It is
No.
not light. No,
It is hoppy.
Okay, very hoppy.
very hoppy.
Very, very hoppy.
Ooh,
Kind of a bitter aftertaste, but it's
yeah, I can't do that.
very good.
It's
Very
too
good for a
belchy.
beer. Yeah.
Too belchy for me. That's okay though. I think next time we do something, I'm gonna bring in something a little bit harder. Do some shots.
Oh, the SoCo will be flying.
Okay, all right.
Promises.
I know.
Again with the promises.
No, this time I will bring something.
I didn't think that you guys would be down for shots of SoCo on a Wednesday
Yeah, not on a
night.
Wednesday night.
Yeah.
That would be bad.
Be a little hard for the morning. Trust me. I know.
mean, you know, work
But-
hard, play hard.
Black Panther.
Yes, let's talk about this.
What did everybody think? I'm going to start with Eric because you're usually
Eric
the
is
hardest on the superhero.
Eric is sharp this time
I
around.
really liked it. I
Nice.
thought it was good. I probably don't love it as much as you guys,
Right.
but I think it was a decent movie.
I thought it
Mainly
was
because of
awesome.
Michael B. Jordan was the reason. I
that,
think.
that you didn't think it was awesome, or that
No,
you thought it was
that,
awesome.
I think he was the I think he was the most. I think he was the coolest thing about the movie.
Really?
Yeah.
I
The
thought
villain was he makes
Yeah.
a great villain.
I
Okay.
thought that I thought the
I
same
agree.
thing. I thought Michael B. Jordan was not only the best character, but the best actor
Really?
in the
Yeah.
in the film.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
He had he's
There's
a
lot
really
of
good actor.
actors. Yeah, there's a lot of really good actors.
There's a lot of really good actors in there. He felt the most realistic,
Authentic.
authentic to
Yeah.
me. Because I'll be honest with you. First of all, I love the movie. I thought it was awesome.
Me too.
To me, in the beginning, a lot of the dialogue in the beginning was really heavy-handed. You know, when it started, you know, like when I am T'Challa. You know, it's like, yeah, you don't have to. I mean, in a cartoon, that's fine. It's like, but you don't have to sell it that much. But that was only for like the first, I'd say, 10 or 15 minutes, and then
It started out weird.
it started out very strange. Yeah,
Yeah, like I didn't know quite what to make of it at first, but it warmed up.
With the whole flashback.
Well, not even the flashback, just like the first like 20 minutes, like when you're because you don't really know. At least I didn't know who any of these characters are.
Yeah.
Because I haven't read any of the comic books, but so there was a lot of character introductions.
right.
So like the pacing was kind of weird at the very beginning, but it leveled out. So.
No, that's true. So the beginning, I'm not going to lie, when the father and the son were having the discussion, I'm like, Lion King all over. But I do agree, the beginning, especially if you're not familiar with the comic, I have read the comic. I'm not fully, registered, but I do know about it. Yeah, you're kind of wondering who are these people at first? What,
Yeah, like you
what's
barely
going on?
know who Black Panther is from like the previous Avenger
Right.
I know
movies.
he was in one of the movies, right?
Yeah.
He was
Even
in
Wild-
Civil War.
Yeah.
His introduction was in
Yeah.
Captain America Civil
And
War.
I don't remember anything about that movie.
He's near kind
His
of
father
the
got
end.
killed in the UN
Yeah.
bombing,
Yeah.
and then
But yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
and then you find out he's the great Captain.
And that's what I like. They actually did flashbacks because I actually totally forgot about that,
Yeah.
to be honest with you. And I'm like, oh, yeah. Okay, got it. Okay,
Well, you know
we're
what?
cool.
Like they do in a lot of, excuse me, in a lot of the superhero movies, they don't go strictly by the comics. Most of these
Right.
characters in
Of
this
course
one
not.
are brand new characters that were never in the comic books. But
Mm-hmm.
the for me, Black Panther is a film that I've been waiting for since I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because as a kid, reading comic books like I did, and we had Batman, we had Superman, we had Iron Man, we had Thor. When they came out, when Black Panther was in that very first Fantastic Four comic book, for me, I was like, wow, a black superhero.
Yeah, because that's when his introduction was in Fantastic Four, right?
Yeah. And so it's like once they started making these superhero movies, I was like, they got to get around to doing Black Panther sooner or later. And then I like the way they fit it into the whole Marvel universe, because a lot of he's as far as the comic books are concerned, he is the first black superhero. But there's been black superhero movies.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, Blade,
Spawn.
the Blade, Spawn.
Yeah.
Some of the other ones are really stupid. You know, but if you think about it, they've done like Captain America, and they've actually done an Avengers movie, but they were all so bad.
Yeah.
I mean, just like to the point where I think the studios even try to hide them. You have to go online and you have to search to actually find those movies. Like you can find the original Justice League movie. It's the worst piece of crap you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah.
You know, so but I mean this movie was really kind of, it was almost like an opera, you know, in the way they presented it. I think Ryan Coogler made I think he made the slickest superhero movie yet.
Okay, so here's my thought, and I'm not going to take away from anyone. Just to start with, I went in first of all, as you guys know, because we've talked about this before, like what's our next movie, and we're like Black Panther and super stoked. So I went in, you know, honestly, because there was no other Black Panther movie.
Yeah.
So I went in like open-minded. I didn't have high expectations, didn't have low expectations. I'm like, all right, let's see what we got going on here. And it's Marvel, so you know, I'm already expecting a lot of cheesy, over-the-top jokes, just the same plot. It was really refreshing. It was a really refreshing comic movie. I'm not going to categorize it as Marvel or DC, but a comic movie. And I think this is a perfect template. If you're going to make a comic movie,
right, this
is what you should follow. I'm not going black. I'm not going white. I'm not going by character. Just the flow of it was great.
It was a little predictable. Like, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't knock these movies for this sort of thing, but I knew the beats this movie was going to hit. Like, right before it was hitting, it's like, yeah. Like when they did the challenge thing to see if he could really be king.
Yeah.
Like, when that goes well, like, well, this is going to happen again, and it's not going to go well. I can already tell this. Like, I don't know. I wish there was some more, like, unpredictable stuff in these movies. But I feel like Marvel, especially, is getting a little too comfortable with some of the formats.
I agree. Definitely the good thing about this is the plot and the story arc of Killmonger was probably the most
superhero stuff is the least interesting.
Yeah. The villains in this movie were what really makes it. Really Killmonger and Claw was really entertaining. And Andy Serkis. He was awesome. He was the most. He was like really like the one problem I have with this movie is like even though it's well made and
people.
Yes. It's not enough. I just.
You know what though? I was glad that because they could have made it very simple and made the villain just a white villain,
right?
Which would have been way too predictable and way.
Luckily, we had a better director.
And way too cliche. Okay,
true.
So Claw was in there because Claw is in the comic books.
Yeah, he is.
Okay, and he fits into that narrative and into the whole MCU. So. And he was really good, you know. He was really good for the time. I was surprised that they killed him off. I would have thought he'd be around for a little bit longer. But spoiler alert, in case you guys haven't seen it. But,
if you haven't watched this movie, you know you're gonna be spoiled because we're gonna say a bunch of stuff that happened during the whole thing. Yeah. So
luckily, if you kill off Andy Serkis, he can just come back as CG.
Absolutely,
that's what he does.
That's
absolutely.
True. But no, to what you guys are saying, I do agree. But you know, we all know. Any comic book movie is pretty much going to be similar. You know, it's going to have a similar type of plot to it.
Absolutely.
But I liked how, like you guys mentioned, I think you hit the nail on the head, is the villain became, really it was about the villain in this movie. It wasn't about Black Panther. It wasn't about,
It's been a long, I can't recall the last Marvel movie where it was where you actually saw like the birth of the villain.
You mean where it was an actual movie and not just
where it's just not like
because
a villain for the villain's sake.
One of the things I'll give this movie is it's not a comic book come to life. Like
no, it's not. Not at all.
This actually could have been a standalone film that wasn't about a superhero. It could have just been. You know, he could have been a spy or something.
They could have just made this movie. It couldn't have been a Marvel. Just make it as a superhero movie.
This could have been like a James Bond. It had a very James Bond feel for the first half.
Absolutely. But did you? I don't know if you guys noticed this because you were talking about how it's similar to a lot of other superhero movies. I think in pacing and tone, it's almost dead on with Wonder Woman. the same. It absolutely
is that
listen. So
is that a compliment or an insult or what?
It's a compliment. But think about this.
The cultural impact of it, I could see being similar.
But think about it.
One of them's good, one of them's bad.
Right, but Wonder Woman's great too. So get off that.
It's really not.
It's not.
I'm sorry.
But listen, so that you have the whole hidden city.
Jiggly thighs and all the hype aside, it's really not a good movie. You will figure this out in a couple of years when the hype dies down and the thighs are not so jiggly anymore.
You got to understand his love for Miss Gal.
I understand.
Absolutely, but I thought it was a well-made movie.
Great director,
and just like this film, like there's one thing that really sticks out about Black Panther, more than the fact that it's a predominantly black cast, and really strong black characters
with two white people. Yes,
the women in this movie, every woman is strong, every woman is smart.
Right
in this movie, they're
my favorite character. The villain, but his sister.
Sister, yeah, she was a sister. She was probably the most fun part of this movie.
And you know what? And you guys, I think you guys well know that I don't like comedy in the superhero movies. I can't stand it.
No, you do not.
And she started off being all funny and comedy, but
it works.
It works because you're supposed to get the idea that she's very young. She's a kid, basically. But she's a smart kid, and she's supposed to be smarter than Tony Stark. And
I made you these shoes. They make no sound. I call them sneakers.
Yeah,
because you, No, actually, okay. So let's talk about the humor for a minute. I loved it. It wasn't over the top. Especially the scene when they went to visit. I forgot the tribe that hid in the mountains. I forgot the name of it.
Jabari.
Jabari. Okay, so they went to go visit him, and the guy who was in The Hobbit. I forgot his name.
Martin Freeman.
Thank you very much. He was. Was it him that was trying to talk? And then, they're like,
they start,
you say one more thing, I'll feed you to my children. I'm just kidding, we're vegetarians.
Yeah,
and then I was laughing that he's laughing because he thought what he said was so funny, which made it worth it.
But it's like, so there's something that I may have got from that the rest of you did not. And was something that also at the end of the movie.
Because we're white? Because we're
actually, yes.
Okay, all right, let's hear it.
But think about this. But that scene where he says, I'm just playing, we're vegetarians, right? That whole thing was, and they're laughing at the fact that they're scaring this guy because he thinks of them a certain way. Yeah. And then at the end of the movie, when they're in the UN and the guy says, he says,
what technology can you offer?
He said, what technology can a bunch of farmers share with us? And he just smiles, and then the movie goes off.
Yeah.
Okay. That is something like you guys know what I've done for the last 25 years, and there's a certain way that people think about me, like, oh, you're just a great big guy who beats the shit out of people. And it's like no, actually, I'm probably far more intelligent than you are, and know a whole lot more shit than you actually
and
think.
very, very sweet.
I know he's a teddy bear.
Yeah, and like
it gives great
like all the clubs and stuff that I've managed. When someone asks to speak to the manager, and I come out there like, well, no, I don't want to see the bouncer. I want to see the manager. It's like, I am the manager.
Yeah,
So there's Ryan Coogler put a lot of that type of stuff in this movie. There's a lot. I mean, it's deeply political.
Oh, for sure.
It's a deeply political movie. I mean, there's one scene where the guy says, so should we open our borders and let all these refugees in and bring their problems? I mean, he says that, which I
don't know. I assume this is written after Trump became president.
They've changed the script,
or at least punched up
1,000 times, but I'm sure they punched it up with all. Since Trump has been there, there's been a lot of stuff added to it. I'm sure, and the whole idea of this nation, and it's an African nation. Killmonger's whole thing, because he's a villain, but he has a good point.
Yeah.
Okay. One thing is like
his name's really dumb, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's from the comic book.
Okay, I'm going to talk about that too, because
is there a reason for it?
Oh yeah. Well, no, I don't know if there's a reason for it, but I was talking about this with some people online the other day. There's a whole bunch of stuff that Killmonger says in the movie that you have to pick up on, and then so his name is actually Eric Stevens.
Right.
It's the people in the military that gave him the name Killmonger.
Right.
And they were talking about how it's the same way they used to take slaves and they would change their name. Okay. If you like Roots.
No,
that's
true.
Yeah, like Roots. His name is Kunta Kinte, and they started calling him Toby.
Right.
Right. So they just changed your name, which is why,
It's not like because they're badass, like you're a shark, just because you.
No. Shark was a name given to me by another black person. But there's a lot of stuff like that in there. At the end when Killmonger dies, he says, "Yeah, just let me die."
Like my ancestors.
Yeah, like my ancestors.
That was badass.
Yeah,
that was a badass line.
Yeah. So there's a lot of that stuff in there that's kind of hidden, but you pick up on it, especially if you see the movie more than once.
How many times have you watched it?
I've seen it twice.
Okay, in theater or
in theater?
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But because the first time I saw it in 3D, which I did not like.
Oh, I was gonna. Okay, so I saw it in IMAX, no 3D. It was perfectly.
I was almost
cool.
gonna watch it in 3D, but I decided not
I
to.
saw
A waste
it
of time.
3D, it's a waste of time, and you just get a headache. And I was like,
almost every movie.
So because there was a couple scenes, I'm like, okay, I can see where 3D would be awesome in it, but it wasn't like throughout the whole movie. You know what I mean?
Well,
so,
you know what the 3D with it, because basically it makes things. Yeah, it's cool to see things jumping out at you.
Yeah.
But
no,
I kept taking the glasses off. I'm like, this looks a lot better in just regular like spectacle.
Yeah.
So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that was cool.
Okay, cool.
So for me, this movie, there's one problem that I can't quite put my finger on it, but just something about the tone of it, where it's kind of serious, but also kind of like a pop Marvel movie, where it's sort of not like I wasn't. It was good, and I could see like a lot of good elements in it, but I wasn't particularly having fun throughout it.
Yeah, my guess would be that Ryan Coogler wanted to make a real slick superhero movie with a slick character with a message.
Yeah.
Right.
But then
and I like heavy movies that are not necessarily fun to sit through. But this one was kind of like in no man's land for me.
But then Kevin Feige probably said,
poignant enough for you?
Well, Kevin Feige probably said this is a Marvel movie. So yes, make your movie, but
And
it does have
Disney.
to have and it's Disney, so it does have to have a little kind of tongue in cheek, even so because the Black Panther character in the comic books is completely humorless.
He's so serious. He has no humor.
Yeah, there's no humor whatsoever.
No.
So and he kind of played it for that a little, but
it did take me a little bit to warm up to the main character. Like he reminded me a lot of the Captain America character, who I can't stand.
Yeah, just a Boy Scouty kind of.
Yeah, he's a little Boy Scouty.
Goody.
But let's be honest. But he has like a lot more daddy.
Let's be honest. They made him a little bitch, is what they did. But he can
Killmonger
fight a little.
Kind of brought him around, which is what worked.
Well, you also got to look at, Black Panther, he was in a way sheltered from a lot of information. Yeah. And Killmonger is he's living the real world. He's been through so much. And he comes in, he's like that one scene, he goes, there's a lot of things going on outside world, and here you guys are sitting on your throne.
He said, you guys are comfortable.
You guys are comfortable. So I could relate to what Killmonger was saying, because he's been through a lot. His dad was taken away from him. And then when Black Panther found out his dad actually killed his brother, and then when he confronts him in the afterlife again, he's like, no, I need to make this right. So I think near that time, that's when he realized.
I like that scene.
Yeah,
I thought that was cool.
He's like, I've been pretty much sheltered. I need to fix what's right.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like Killmonger brought him around
exactly.
to being.
Yeah.
No one's brought Captain America around.
No, and he's going to die soon, so it's, whatever.
Don't get my hopes up.
Killmonger.
No, he is. Yeah. He's going to die in Infinity Wars.
In the long run, I mean, if you think about it, in the long run, Killmonger is probably making him a better person.
For sure.
And a better ruler, at least.
And that's why I love villains so much, because they're so misunderstood. It's not them wanting to destroy people because they want to. They've been through so much, and you don't know what's going on in their story.
Thanos boring.
Yeah, but
what makes who boring?
Like Thanos and
whatever
the robot guy was.
Yeah, there's like no origin story, like why they're just like power hungry, this cosmic force. Who cares?
They call it. It's like evil for the sake of being evil.
Yeah,
right.
That's boring.
Now where that did work was the Joker in Nolan's Batman,
where he's crazy.
He's just like
he's a psychopath.
Yeah,
but that kind of works without necessarily having to know why.
He wasn't trying to take over the world or anything. He was just creating chaos.
He's just creating chaos.
Right.
And then, but Killmonger, like I said, first of all, okay, he has a right to the throne,
right?
For one thing, and then his T'Challa's father killed his father.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of symbolism in this. Like it wasn't lost on me the fact that he grew up in Oakland, California, which is the birthplace of the actual Black Panthers.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay, so that's
as of all this guy's movies.
Yeah,
takes place in Oakland.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was like this guy.
I assume he's from there.
And Ryan Coogler's from Oakland, and he basically was saying, he's like, listen, if Wakanda has had all this technology and all this stuff for all these hundreds of years, and you guys have hidden it and just let black people be, treated like shit all over the world when you could have done something about it.
Right.
That's his point. But then he takes it to the extreme by saying, we want to take the weapons and give them to people and just start killing people and take over the world ourselves. Yeah. So, instead of using it to help people, that's where the villain in him came out.
And that's where the whole point of this movie is. It's like, it's two things. It's like you can't just take something because you feel wronged and you're in a way getting revenge and, you have this power. It's if you have the ability to help out other people, whether it's your people, your neighbors, your brothers, your sisters, why won't you help? Why are you staying hidden in the shadows?
And especially, I don't know if you guys have noticed this. There have been on social media, there are so many people that have said, well, I don't know why black people are so excited about this movie. It's just a movie.
You don't go on social media.
Yeah, it's just a movie. Now here,
Shark is on there all day.
Oh my god!
when I go on Facebook, all I see is Shark rants.
I love it
because there's always something that makes me rant. So
that's because you're always on Facebook. Though.
Wait. Didn't you say that you were going to go off Facebook for a week and then the next day you posted?
No. I said the next time there's a tragic event. The next time there's a tragic event in this country, I'm going to go off Facebook.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Okay. Because I can't look at the idiot things that people write. It's just like, because then it makes me want to engage. And then when I do, the stupid shit just keeps going. And then I get a headache.
Oh my God.
And then I get really crazy.
And the NSA knows exactly where you stand on every issue.
So that's the thing. So all these people are like, well, it's just a movie. And I write down, I'm like, first of all, why do you give a shit if I like this movie?
Yeah.
It's like, what if you don't like it, then don't go see it.
Yeah.
But why do you care that I like this movie? And two, if you can't understand why a young black kid would like to see a black superhero, or hell, if a young white kid would like to see a white superhero,
and they put out like 30 of these things already. Yeah, it's just like the first one.
Yeah, and so this guy I actually know said that he's like, he's like, well, black people are really happy about this new Black Panther movie. I said, the same way white people were happy when Captain America came out. Now, I was like, so what's the difference?
Now, can I add something to that? On that flip note, there was an article where I forgot what I don't know if it was New York Times or whatever, but it was, in a way, it's kind of like there was a picture of this little black kid with his mom, and then he sees this little white boy taking the last Black Panther doll or whatever. But on that flip note,
was it Shark? Did Shark take the last doll?
It kind of looked like.
Get that for me.
Get out my face, little kid.
Get that for me, kid.
It kind of looked like him. But no, they're also on that flip note. It's kind of a black backlash of, can white kids buy Black Panther merch?
Should be able to buy whatever they want.
I agree, but that's our problem as a society. We're pinning each other against each other. It's, why are black people excited about this? Why are white people buying Black Panther? It's kind of like, it's like you see a little black kid wearing Captain America suit. Who cares?
I honestly think that if the media didn't show shit like that, nobody would care.
No one would care. That's the problem.
I didn't even know this was a thing.
It was.
Because it's a stupid
so stupid.
Thing.
It's like
it sounds manufactured.
It is.
I think it's manufactured because I haven't heard one person. They've had these reports, and actually there was a fake thing. I guess it was on Facebook where this girl showed pictures of herself beat up, and she said she got beat up when she.
I saw this.
Yeah, she said she got beat up when she went to see Black Panther because black people told her this is our movie. And
there was a white girl that got beat up?
Yeah.
Is this like a serious, like,
no, it turned out to be a hoax.
It was a hoax.
It was a model that did it, too.
Oh, my God.
Or a wannabe model.
And listen, I have...
Was it Kathy Griffin?
I have to say this. If I went to see Black Panther, and it's, a theater full of black people and some white people show up, and people tell them, you can't come see this movie.
This is our movie. This is not for you.
Like, everybody shut the fuck up.
I know. I would
with that stupid shit. Go
watch Captain America, bro.
Yeah, it's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
I'd be like, okay, first of all, Black Panther was also written by a white comic book artist by the name of Stan Lee.
Yeah, Stan Lee and Jack Kirby.
Thank you.
It's like all of that, but it's like you said, it's manufactured.
It's
got to be. I I don't know anybody, and trust me, I know a lot of black people. So I don't know anybody that said white people should not go see this movie. Yeah. It's like if anything, it's like I want white people to see this. I want everybody to see this movie.
Everyone should see this movie because it does have good points, and honestly, it's a really entertaining movie. It has a lot of bad CG though. Unfortunately,
yeah, really? that's the other thing that bothered me. Like everyone was saying how like visually awesome it is, and to me it was nauseating. It was really cartoony.
I thought visually it was kind of cool, but it was very cartoony. At the end, when the spaceship kind of lands on the basketball court, I'm like, that looks like something I could have done on my computer.
No, I think what kind of threw me off is the
waterfall.
That waterfall
was bad.
Yeah.
It wasn't as bad though as Justice League Superman's lip. Okay, it wasn't that bad, but it was kind of like, okay, this is a little over the top.
But anytime it was like CG Black Panther, it was bad too.
Yeah,
like during the car scene.
Yeah, like when they're anytime he's jumping around fighing in the suit. When it's on
that's the other thing that really bugged me about this, where I couldn't really get into it. It's just really just bad also, CG, very, very cartoony looking.
That's also another reason to not see it in 3D, because the CG is really bad in 3D, and then it's dark. It's really dark.
I really like the way the city looked. I thought
that was
really
cool.
Really cool.
Yeah, the city was cool.
The whole what do they call it? Afrofuturism? I forget what the term is, but it's like every time you see a future city, it looks like Blade Runner.
Yeah.
And this
was like Blade Runner mixed with just kind of like a village.
Well, and that was the thing, because my roommate,
I thought it looked different enough.
My roommate asked me about that. He's like, I don't understand. They have all that technology, but some of the people still like have huts and stuff like that. And I was like, well. It's a technological society that's holding on to its culture. It's like they have.
It's a cool mix.
They're wanting to.
It's a very cool mix.
I do have one question, because everyone in the world thinks Wakanda is 5 farms. It's a really poor village or whatever. It's
with coal miners.
Like who has to represent the way the world sees them? Like who's out there living in those huts? Knowing this magical city
I know.
Underneath. Did they just draw a short straw?
Maybe they rotate them. Maybe you're just for 3 months. You just got to pretend you're a peasant, and then
the draft.
Exactly.
If you listen to it in the beginning, they're saying that it's almost impossible to really tell what it's like, because it's hidden by a dense rainforest.
No, but there is a part that the media thinks is Wakanda. That's just
like
villages.
The little huts that are out there.
They see it's huts and stuff.
I'm like, who got the short straw that has to go live out there?
Well, I think you're right. I think it's probably kind of like military service or
but think about it. So there's not
the Peace Corps. You just got to go in for 9 months. Live in a hut.
Yeah.
Poop in a bucket.
I like that idea.
There's not a lot we know.
We should do that in the
Africa.
States.
Oh my god.
If you think about it, there's not a lot we know about countries in Africa, except for like Nigeria and in any place there's a war going on. We have satellites and you can see it, but the other countries are like, we don't give a shit. So if they think it's just some poor African nation that has nothing but goats, they're like, well, we don't really need to send any satellites over there and take pictures. And
I just think it's funny that there's people masquerading out there, that's their job. It's man.
But if you get
I'm just herding goats here. That's what I do.
No, I'll live in a cool hut if I can get one of those badass rhinos with the gear on it. I mean,
again would have been cool if it wasn't so cartoony looking. So take Blade Runner. The CGI in there was freaking amazing. That looks like a real world. They put in the effort to make that, and I mean, I imagine Marvel probably has at least as much money or more to put into it than whoever did.
It had to be time, right? I just feel like maybe they
just have to staple it together, get it out in time for Infinity Wars and all that.
I think it's just
Black
being
History
lazy.
Month, man. You got to get out.
I think it's just being lazy, because that with the giant rhino, that was some of the worst CG I've seen in any movie ever. It was.
Yeah, that stuff really kicks me out of the movie.
Bad Star Wars stuff. It was really.
It's I don't care. I didn't care about any of the fighting that was happening.
Yeah, me too.
Because it didn't look good, and I'm like, I know the outcome of this already. Right. Well, I'm just sitting here waiting for it to happen now.
Here's why I
did
like
the South Korea scene though. That was pretty cool.
Well, okay. Before I go into the fighting, let me talk about it was South Korea.
Yeah, I did too.
So they actually shot that in South Korea, and watching that and watching the Olympics right now, some of the Olympic stuff. Have you noticed the amount of technology they have in South Korea that's completely different from like
they make all of it. They make all of our shit. Yeah, all of this in the studio right here.
Like they have like they did a whole like a little 3-minute segment on it on the news during the Olympics. Like the stuff they have that is like we're not even close to that here. It's like
what?
Like they had like
the drone cameras.
Well, no, like their vending machines.
Oh,
like their vending machines are their video screens. Where you're like moving shit and then you like, touch what you want and then it just
like
comes out.
Minority Report style.
Yeah,
that doesn't sound useful though. Like I don't know. Like, do we need to make vending machines better?
Well,
yes,
we got to keep up with Wakanda, bro.
Yeah, but vending machines is just like that's what you see. God only knows what they actually have.
Wait, South Korea is kind of like Wakanda.
No. Hey,
they were like backwards for all this time, and then all of a sudden they're just like running everything.
You think that's fancy? Go to Tokyo. Just go to Tokyo.
I think your Crispin Rosé is fancy.
This is vending machines in Tokyo, by the way.
Different what? Vending machines?
Yeah, you can get different things.
I've been to Tokyo, and I've actually I'm just going to put it this way, just for educational purposes.
You needed underwear?
There was a used underwear vending machine for the men, and you get a picture of the girl who wore it.
Oh,
and
some context.
I did not open the.
That's why you need those screens on there. Like, see, that's why the technology is increasing.
We're getting there eventually. But no, it's still pretty cool though.
Well, the bad thing is they use all the technology for porn. It's like,
I have one more stupid question.
Yes.
So, what's the metal called?
Vibranium.
Vibranium.
All right, so it's the most vibrator
vibrator
thing ever.
Yeah, that's what vibrators are made of. That's what Wakanda's biggest export.
If it's like the most powerful metal, how do you extract it?
It's mine.
They don't go into all that.
Yeah,
with
like
vibranium drills.
Yeah, you have to.
But how do you get the vibranium drills to get?
You have to suspend disbelief. That's what
you have to separate the atoms and separate the vibranium in a separate parcel. And
they're smart. They're obviously the smartest country.
Dr. Gorgon.
You better get that PhD right.
That's also kind of another like little bit of a problem that I had with this whole premise that this like hidden African country is actually the most technologically advanced thing.
I like that. That's kind of fitting, right?
Yeah. Well, it's just like the to go back to Wonder Woman. The Amazons are like the best warriors. And they're hidden. So
but
this is supposed to be.
I think it would be cool if they connected it back to like I don't know, like Egyptian pyramids, something like.
Well, it was from space. The vibranium. It was a meteor.
Different superhero, Paul.
Yeah.
Who was that?
I don't know.
Mighty Isis.
That's another cat person, probably.
Yeah, it was. It's like so. Like they explain it kind of. If you listen, they kind of explain it like, Wakanda's very lucky that this meteorite hit there. And I mean, listen, I don't know how fucking Rock teaches you technology, but they actually said it changed the plant life and it changed the animals and it did a whole bunch of stuff. So perhaps it changed people's brain capacity and
that was the downfall.
So but that's one of those things. It's like they don't explain that. Like it just is what it is.
I did like when Michael B. Jordan was at the museum. And they asked to bring in
I'm just feeling it.
They asked to bring in the African artifact expert is a white lady.
Yeah.
I like that. I thought that was a nice touch.
But to get back to what you said about the fighting, I liked it for one reason. So if you notice, they took away his superpowers when he was fighting.
Yep.
It was he was doing jujitsu basically is what he was doing, but so he doesn't have that wasn't really CG. They were really those were two stunt people actually fighting.
Yeah.
So I like that because he's not fighting another superhero. He's just fighting a regular man.
Yep.
So they're just going at it. When he takes which by the way, the heart-shaped herb, I think that's the dumbest name. The thing should have a name. They
just say ganja.
They just call it the heart-shaped herb. But when he gets his superpowers, then that's when they start all the CG backflips and running up walls and all that shit. That's when
it's all boring.
All of that's boring. I like the better fighting. Like
I can only say that maybe if you're like a 11-year-old kid, that's impressive to you. So maybe we're just not the target demographic for that stuff.
Not at all.
No, honestly, like, I know you guys are mentioning bad CGI. Let me just be honest with you. Watching the fight scenes, that did not cross my mind. Yeah. The only bad, like, where it kind of threw me off was the waterfall scene.
All I could see.
Well, maybe, again, I was channeling little 9-year-old Amy, maybe,
Especially with the train.
No, honestly, I didn't. I was taking for what it was, and and I felt it was fine. Like I said, the only thing that threw me off a little bit was the waterfall scene, but it wasn't as obvious like in Justice League. Yeah. That was terrible.
Anytime I see any type of action movie from like
I won't.
Like anything like say movies like The Rock, okay. The story and the dialogue and when people are acting and talking, that's what I like. When they start blowing shit up, and everybody's running around fighting and flying, I don't even pay attention to any of that shit because I think it's so boring.
Yeah.
And then same thing in this movie. If it's cool, it's visually stunning for a second, but after that, it's like okay, it's some people fighting, and you know that.
I mean, it's really more. And again, like if it's for little kids, that might be too much, but like. Keeping it realistic, like John Wick style or Blade Runner.
You can make a good action scene. I mean,
but that's what I mean.
Or like, even the original Bourne Identity, that kind of style. There's like cool. Legit martial art monsters out there. They could do this stuff on camera that will look fantastic. You don't need all this cartoony stuff.
Any sort of like martial arts fighting film that they use actual stuntmen and they don't use the ropes where people are flying and all that bullshit. That shit looks cool to me.
It does.
The Bourne Identity is a great example. Yeah. That was awesome. The fight that they had. It's just
all the super like agile, like the superheroes that are super agile, like Spider-Man and Black Panther. It all just looks really bad.
It looks terrible.
It looks cool in comics, but on screen it just doesn't quite work.
They haven't made. I don't know. I guess CG people just don't look good.
You're dealing with a fake. You're dealing with a fantasy world. Yeah. How can you translate fantasy into reality? This is right now the best thing. Now, 10 years from now, when our CGI is getting better, it's going to be. But look how far we've come with this. We've come really far now. My favorite fight scene, I'm just going to say this, was in the casino. The actress who plays Michonne.
Yeah,
I forgot her character name when she takes off her wig and she's in that flowy dress and she tackles. Best fight scene. I thought that was great
because that wasn't CGI.
And that was like a continuous camera kind of shot thing.
Yeah,
right?
That was that's physical. That's a person.
Yeah,
that was a choreographed fight scene, and I think she actually did that. I'm like, I think she actually did that.
Well, she's from Walking Dead, right?
Yeah, she's had that training and everything. Right. Yeah, she's Michonne. I mean,
she's way too cool to be on that stupid shitty show.
And she was actually the other she was a really good character.
She was actually one of my favorite ones.
Actually, all the can we do a toast to Angela Bassett for
Angela Bassett.
Man. Black don't crack, baby. She still looks good.
Awesome.
She looks fantastic. How old is she? Like 60 or something?
She's got to be at least 60.
Yeah, she still looks amazing.
I know she had.
I wish they'd give her a little more to do, but
yeah, and like her kind of like role was a little bit.
But keep this in mind. This is kind of his origin story.
Yeah.
So they got to keep it basically about him because after this, it's not going to be about Black Panther at all. No. It's going to be Infinity Wars. I
don't want to see him in Infinity Wars. I don't want to see him like Captain America just telling him what to do. That just sucks.
Just taking orders from Whitey as usual.
But you know what? So in all these movies, any movie that has Captain America in it or Iron Man is about Captain America and Iron Man.
That's true because they're basically representation of
they're
Marvel,
the man.
And to my point of underdog movies, it's like, okay, so this is what I like what Marvel's doing. Okay, so we have Iron Man, we have Captain America, we have the Hulk, we have all these Thor, we have all these big movies. The first underdog movie that came out that I was really excited about was Guardians of the Galaxy because no one knew what it was, and I knew what it was. And then now we're going into Black Panther, so it's like that. And then Deadpool's kind of in the middle. He's not over the top, not under. Yeah. So
is he going to be in Infinity Wars?
No,
that would be awesome if he was.
He's not in the MCU.
No.
He's going to be the last man standing.
Because clearly, so I get it. Captain America is the leader of the Avengers because he's the military guy.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
He's also the worst.
Yeah. When clearly, if I haven't
made that clear, I don't like Captain
being a fanboy the fucking Hulk should be the leader of the Avengers because
for sure.
he's actually the smartest one and he's the badass.
And look at Thor
but
Ragnarok.
he's mindless. When he's the Hulk, he's just like this.
Good.
He can't.
He's not reliable.
He can't do strategy.
He can't really rely on
like smash.
Exactly. That's his strategy. He's like, I'm just going to smash everything in front of me.
And that's what I liked about Thor Ragnarok. He had a bigger part in that than any of the movies he's
I
been in.
hated that movie.
Okay, look.
All
right.
liked
Let's get
it.
you back into your happy place,
Yeah,
the
that's
Black
good.
Panther. Okay, just for a moment. But to that point,
I've actually liked the last 3 Marvel movies. What's wrong with me?
What was the
one,
one?
Ragnarok. What's the
What was
third
the
one?
other one?
Spider-Man.
I did like Spider-Man Homecoming.
Spider-Man was terrible.
See, again, like Michael Keaton was a good villain because he wasn't trying to save
Michael
the world.
Keaton was actually
He was a really
very
good
in that
villain.
movie.
Give me good villains. And I know for a fact we don't have that in the next one. So
But okay, Thor.
Who plays Thanos?
Oh, it's Josh Brolin.
Josh Brolin.
And he also plays Cable in Deadpool.
Yeah.
So kind of funny how that's working out.
I guess
They're recycling because Michael B. Jordan was in Fantastic Four. Terrible.
Can we talk
he
about
was like in that shitty?
He was
Fantastic
Johnny Storm. Yeah.
Yeah. Can we talk
I
about
thought he
Michael
was the
B.
Torch
Jordan
guy.
for a minute?
Huh?
I thought he was the Torch guy.
He was Human Torch.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
Johnny Storm.
Because
yeah.
Captain America, what's his name? Chris.
He was also Johnny
Torch.
Storm.
Yeah.
He was
They were
Human
both
Torch,
in that.
yeah.
So let's talk about John. God, what's his name? Michael B. Jordan.
Michael B.
Okay.
Jordan, yeah.
How
He's great.
buff.
What does the B stand for?
Oh my god.
Badass.
Baller.
He got buff for this movie.
Dude, he
Yeah.
said
Was
apparently
he that buff
he's
in Creed? I don't think he was.
No, he wasn't that big in Creed, I don't think.
He probably just started in Creed and kept going.
Yeah.
dude, I crushed so hard. I'm like, dude, he's from Santa Ana like me. I'm like, yes.
Have you guys seen Fruitville Station?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
I've
it's so
seen
good.
it. It's a good movie.
Is
yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
haven't seen it. No.
He's
But
roid,
they're making a
he's
Creed
roid
2
raging.
though. They're making a Creed 2.
He was like I said, he was the best thing in the movie.
He was really good.
He was really good. But
he looks.
There's a lot of good stuff in this movie. Like,
Yeah.
not
I
just,
like Lupita Nyong'o.
I love her.
She's awesome.
She's to
gorgeous.
me what Wonder Woman is to Shark.
She's gorgeous. Actually, all the females in there were gorgeous.
She's a very. You know,
there's a lot of sexy people in this movie.
There is a
There
lot.
are, like-
oh my god,
Martin Freeman, meow.
Oh,
Oh, dude, I'm
middle-aged white man. Oh yeah.
I'm expecting him to take off his shoes and show his hobbit feet
Dude,
because
but
Isn't
I
it cool
also
to see him and Andy Serkis together?
yeah.
Not have to be CG.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's right. He was Gollum, right?
Yeah,
Gollum and Bilbo Baggins.
I was waiting for him to do the Gollum voice and then just go in a Lord of the Rings kind of thing.
I'm kind of bummed they killed him off.
Yeah, he was
a lot of
good.
fun.
Maybe they'll turn him into a cyborg or something.
No, he's like dead.
He's
Dead,
pretty sure
dead.
He's
dead.
totally
No one's
dead.
looking
It's
at
like-
that like garbage heap for at
But-
least a week.
But also the actor who
Hey, it's
played.
Andy Serkis. He's good.
I know.
So, all right. So the
Let's
one.
put him in a movie. Let's bring him back to life.
Oh, can we? That'd be cool. No, all right. So the one actor who played Black Panther's kind of side man, I forgot his name. He was in Get Out. I forgot his name.
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, Daniel
Kaluuya.
Yeah, Kaluuya. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of his character?
I thought he was a perfect character for the movie because this movie
Judas.
is all about loyalty.
He's a Black Judas.
Yeah, this movie is all about loyalty. And,
He was very predictable. You're
Yeah,
like, yep,
and-
he's the one that's going to turn back.
yeah,
I can call
Well,
it right
he
now.
was getting pissed because he's like, I thought you were different. Let's try to get this guy that's been on the run for 20 years.
Yeah, but like he's been king for like 15 minutes.
That's
Yeah.
true.
And he
It's
was
like, give him a break.
He's like already turning on him.
Yeah, that's true.
but
That's true.
it's one of those things. It's like a lot of movies where you have this. What really is they have like a perfect society. They don't have any fucking problems.
Yeah,
They,
right?
they don't really have any problems, but your problems come with just being people. Because eventually people are just going to turn on each other. It's like you know what, everything is good, but you know what, you have $5 and I only have $4, so I want one of your dollars. So now we have to start fighting. Or you married a better looking woman than I did, so I hate you. It's like so they had this perfect society. They handled things like the correct way. It's like, okay, this person is the heir to the throne. Is there anybody who wants to fight him to become, and if you beat him, then you become king and then you run the damn country, but like if you see that first scene, all of the tribes said, nope, we don't, it's fine. We don't challenge him. Yeah. One guy who challenged him, he beat that guy. Then he becomes king. So
See, that's one thing I actually liked.
Yeah,
Is
they're
like,
all predictable notes.
Yeah, it was. It was predictable.
But like you saying that just made me realize I want like a spin-off series of Wakanda that has like the Larry David character of Wakanda and just bitches about the like day-to-day things. I want to see that now.
Who hates everything?
Yeah.
So
that would be me.
Living in the perfect society and hates it all.
That would be me.
The sad thing about our society is I know people out there are probably thinking this is actually real life.
There was a guy on
like
Facebook
Shark?
who thought Wakanda was a real place.
Yeah. People like I want to see a Jimmy Kimmel.
Go online, guys. You got to stop.
But
if we've learned anything, no more social media.
I'm sorry. There's something I don't understand. How can an adult be that stupid? You
know how many
you're too dumb to live.
They're just getting clicks from you. They know Wakanda is not real. They just want your clicks.
No, this guy
and you're giving it to them.
This guy thought Wakanda is real.
Russian troll.
Listen, this is completely. This is completely off the subject. But Rush Limbaugh, okay.
Wow, that is off the.
No.
Oh, and looks like we're out of time.
But listen to what he said. Listen to what he said because so there was talk of making Idris Elba James Bond. Okay, Rush Limbaugh said, "Okay, so can we make
It's a Black Panther podcast, right? I just want to double check."
But he said, so since we're going to make Idris Elba be James Bond, can we make George Clooney be in the Martin Luther King Jr. story? Okay, James Bond is a fucking fictional character. It can be black. He can be orange. He could be from fucking Mars.
He could be Trump.
It could be Trump.
Martin Luther King is a real person. Okay, I say that because that's the type of Can a person be on the radio and be this respected guy and be that fucking stupid?
If you guys are into this kind of ranting, please follow Shark on Facebook.
Yes,
Get your daily dose of Shark.
This is like, I mean, that's like troll baiting. That's exactly what that is. He knows exactly what that statement is when he makes it.
I don't know. He might be that dumb. Just like the guy who thinks Wakanda is a real place.
He's made a fortune of it. He knows exactly what he's saying.
And the guy that thinks Wakanda is a real place is even smarter than
I think Shark needs another beer.
No,
okay, calm.
I'm very calm.
Take a deep breath.
Stupid people make me angry.
But
There's
you already
a lot of them
know
out
there
there.
is so many people out there that are just that dumb and that, gullible.
See, Shark's problem is he grew up in the blissful ignorance of all the stupid people out there until social media became a thing, and he got a Facebook account, and now they're all in his face every day, all day.
That's very true because
do you have a Twitter account?
No.
No, thank God.
Oh my God.
Until social media.
It's called Twitter because they're all twits.
Yeah, there were the same amount of stupid people, but you didn't know everyone. Okay, so there was always that one stupid person in your group. They're like, yeah, you're dumb. Go sit down. You didn't know that there were 500 people around the corner that were just as dumb. the stupid person, you're like, yeah, get out of here.
Oh no!
But okay, getting back to the movie.
Please, thank you.
I also feel that this is the first Marvel film anyway that the soundtrack fits so perfectly with the movie.
Ooh.
And
Guardians is pretty good too.
And the soundtrack, well, yeah, that's
the first one.
Guardians, some of the best white music around.
But not just the soundtrack, the score. The score of the movie is very cool.
Good.
Yeah.
Can I talk about it?
Yes, you can.
I'm like all excited over here. Okay.
You can't play it because we don't have rights.
No, I'm not going to play it. Okay, so that was by Paul.
That's some African music for you. That was a Crispin Rosé.
Oh yeah. By the way, I brought 2 bottles and they're both gone.
Which was supposed to be like your African rain stick.
Yeah.
No,
I wondered what the hell that was.
Wow.
Okay,
I'm on the not racist side of the table.
Okay, so to Shark's point, score was amazing because it took traditional with now and they made it work. Mm-hmm. And I like all types of music, to be honest with you, except for really hardcore rap and really hardcore country. I can't stand it.
Nor can I.
But we're on the digital world, so of course I have Spotify. But if I really like something, I will buy it on CD.
Check your privilege.
I know, right? First world problems. Come on. But I actually I bought the soundtrack to this movie, and I've been listening to it for almost a week now.
It's an awesome soundtrack.
It's really good.
It's got all that cool stuff with the African drums? And...
No, that I do on my Spotify. The other, I have the actual music, soundtrack,
songs,
right? But the score, it's different.
Yeah, you can possibly get it. I'm probably not yet though, but
yeah.
I would like to have the score as well.
I would love to. That's the thing. I love score music. I'm a huge fan of that video game music. But I was really kind of shocked at myself because it actually brought me to a place that I'm not really familiar with, and I liked it. So
I thought it fit a lot of the scenes well, especially when they're showing just sort of panoramic scenes of I mean it wasn't really Africa, it was all fake stuff, but sure. But it worked for the film.
My favorite, the favorite songs were when they enter the casino scene and the very end. I'm like, oh my god, I need this in my life, and I'm like, I don't know who sings it, I don't care, I want it, and I've been listening to it nonstop. So recommend it. It's worth
stars.
All the stars. Kendrick Lamar and
SCA, and then of course The Weeknd, who's actually one of my favorite artists. He and I think another artist. But when I got the mask, I bought the soundtrack too. It was like $12, and everyone's like, well, why'd you buy the CD? I go, if I really like it, you can't always rely on technology. So CD's always going to be there.
Your phone could go down at any time.
Exactly.
So,
unless it's made of vibranium.
CDs are technology, just so you know.
Well, I mean, now cars are being produced.
You gotta buy the record.
No, it's more expensive. Yeah, that is true. Although I do have a record player, though.
I would love to have vinyl. And
they everything's vinyl. Okay, fun fact. So Best Buy is now going to stop producing CDs starting January of next year. They're not going to have any. They're not going to sell any more CDs.
Best Buy.
Nobody's
Best
buying
Buy
them.
is still around?
Yeah.
They're still around?
Yeah.
It's because everybody downloads everything.
That's what I'm saying. But they're still going to produce vinyls. Look how backwards we've gotten now.
Mm-hmm. We actually did a video last week in LA that's, I think is the only place in the world that restores vinyl lathes. They have all these machines that cut vinyl in there. Because I don't think anyone manufactures those anymore.
What show are you plugging?
I'm not plugging a show, but if you want to check it out, it's called Making It with Terry Wallman. No, but the place we shot it was super cool. They got these giant record making lathes where they cut records and they repair them. It's crazy technology. These things they're giant. They're these big metal hunks of old 60s German tech. It's trippy.
Technology isn't always good. I venture to guess if the whole grid went down and nobody could use computers, everybody would starve.
Yeah,
people would not know how to go buy food or
Siri, bring me food. Siri, are you there?
My roommate likes to order food from Vons.com to have it delivered. I'm like, the store's down the street.
Why?
The store.
That's another form of laziness.
But see, and yes.
It's like,
yes, he's lazy, but it's more he's so into the fact that you can do it. I have an ongoing argument with him about if I had kids doing their homework and studying, I would make them go to the library, not just sit in front of the damn computer. Because you need to learn how to go do stuff.
You just got to learn that Dewey Decimal System.
You do.
learn how to use things instead of just sit there and press.
I totally forgot about the Dewey Decimal System.
Yeah.
I just
see that's how useful it is.
Wow. Or remember, library books when you did your checkout. You had your checkout stamp.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Remember
when you had to sign?
Bring it back on
remember
display.
In school you were actually taught how to write out a check.
I'm from Wakanda. We didn't write checks. So.
Wakanda forever.
Wakanda forever.
You just twisted your bead. Paid for it.
Exactly.
No. To that point, okay. So I've done Uber
back to the
Eats.
Movie.
No, I've.
Cedric, you want to jump in on this? You spoiled this whole movie for me.
Ooh, really?
What do we?
Yeah, Cedric was a big fan.
How much time do we have left?
I'm kind of pushing back the clock. We can kind of wrap it up whenever.
I'm just wondering, what do we want to wreck next?
Not sure what's coming out next, except for what's coming in May.
I want to see Annihilation.
What's that?
A sci-fi movie, same guy that did Ex Machina.
That's with Natalie Portman.
Natalie Portman.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about that, but
I
do know this. So she's like a doctor and a military person, and she leads a team of all female military.
Are they going to find wheat on this planet?
Well, actually, funny you mentioned that. Well, from what I could tell from the trailer, there's some kind of alien life form that's invaded the Earth. That's basically, it looks like it's transforming every pretty much living organism into plants, and it's like everything's very beautiful and like, but it's taking like our life and
they call it the smile or something like that. Anyway, but she's a doctor and her husband is a military guy who goes to investigate this thing, and then he comes back and he's very, very different and he's all changed. So she decides that she has to take a team and see what's going on. That's basically what it's about.
Oh,
but they're kind of being like really quiet about what the actual.
Have any of you seen Ex Machina?
I've seen Ex Machina.
No, I heard that was good though, and I love the actress.
To watch it.
It's really good. Yeah. It's really like realistic, no bullshit.
Because what's her name's in it?
Alicia who plays Tomb Raider now. Yeah, and then Oscar Isaac is in it too.
And she is terrible in everything that I see her in.
Really?
But she's in like an award-winning actress.
She was good in the.
She plays a mean
Dutch
robot.
Girl.
Yeah. Oscar Isaac is actually in Annihilation too. He plays Natalie Portman's husband.
I like Oscar Isaac.
He's so hot too.
He's good.
I can't stand.
He's in everything now.
I don't like him.
Natalie Portman?
No, I like Natalie Portman. I'm sorry.
You know what?
What's her name?
With Black Panther too. Chadwick Boseman.
Yes.
He now
I haven't seen him in anything.
He's
either.
in everything. Like
he's
I know,
in 42.
I looked at his
Jackie.
filmography. That dude has played everybody.
He's played James Brown.
Any biography, any black biography, he's the guy.
Jackie Robinson,
James Brown, Thurgood Marshall.
Yeah.
He's a good actor,
dude.
He's a good actor, but I think that now
I'm almost kind of sad he got saddled with the superhero bullshit.
Well, the good thing about that is that Infinity Wars and then Infinity Wars 2, that's kind of like the end.
Yeah.
And then they go on to the next phase.
Right.
They all think of something.
Yeah, which is
they'll think of something to take their money.
They're gonna have him contracted.
I would not be surprised if Rocket and Groot have their own standalone movie on how they became partners.
Okay, well, so you do know that in the comic books that
they become lovers.
At one point Black Panther becomes Captain America.
Yeah.
Who does?
Yeah.
Black
Panther becomes Captain America.
You
mentioned it, I think, before.
Yeah, when Captain America's it. And there's actually a Black Panther
Don
cartoon.
Cheadle that became Captain America.
No, not War Machine.
He's War Machine and he Iron Man. But in on the Black Panther cartoon, there's an episode where Captain America and it's the Legends thing where it's called Justice League Dark, or not Justice League Dark, but it's the dark shit where
everything's dark.
Yeah, Captain America goes to Wakanda to kill Black Panther, and Black Panther beats the shit out of him.
Yeah.
and then
how you come in my country?
Yeah, and then saves his life. So
maybe that'll be in Civil War. I would love to see Captain America get the shit beat out of him.
Isn't he? He's supposed to die. I thought
he's supposed to die in Infinity War.
So he'll get he's gonna be dead.
He'll get his.
But there's 2 stupid Infinity War movies though.
At least it's not 5 because that thing is massive.
It can't happen soon enough, is what I'm saying.
I'm telling you, I think Infinity War is going to be terrible.
It's going to be terrible.
It is going to be bad, but
you want to boycott?
We're still going to go watch it.
Can we not do a Rekt Infinity Wars?
We have to, though.
Abstain.
We've done everything else, so
it's going to be such a rough month.
That's what we were talking about. So May, we have Deadpool. We have Han Solo movie.
Okay.
These are 3 movies we should probably all go see.
I'm going to be the greatest pilot in the universe.
I seriously can't.
Like the greatest. I'm the greatest pilot. I'm the best.
From the trailer alone,
it looks really bad. The only good thing about it is
no one's a better pilot than me.
Emily,
should be called Solo because one person should go see it. It's terrible.
You know what? I'm gonna eventually watch it just see how bad it is.
Who's directing that one?
Ron Howard.
Oh.
No, and he was brought in to fix it.
They should just stop making those movies now.
Because
it's a Star Wars story, though. They have
fired
it's going to be a Hatchet job.
They fired the directors that were making it, like 70% into it, and they brought in Ron Howard.
That's a good sign.
Yeah, it's
that whole thing should have just been reshot and recast.
And I know we're going to go see it because we're idiots.
Yeah, because it's Star Wars. It's Star Wars.
Amy's going to buy a mask and a lightsaber.
No, okay. There's a difference.
Soundtrack.
No, okay. I love
going to get
Kylo
a Boba
Ren.
Fett mask.
I love Kylo Ren, and I don't like porgs, but I love BB-8. We've had this discussion.
That Kylo Ren character is the biggest crybaby.
I love Kylo Ren with the mask on. Okay, there's a difference. keep him with the
tore
mask
it up, though.
on.
He doesn't have the mask anymore.
I know. Well, this is like. Anyway,
now we get to see the story of Han Solo, which is something you never wanted to see.
Ever wanted to see that.
No, the actor they chose to play, no. Just no, stop it. Just the only good thing about the movie
Matthew McConaughey, or get the fuck out of here.
No, the only good thing is the actress from Game of Thrones, Emily.
No, she's terrible.
She's
the worst thing in
Game of Thrones. Which one?
For visual
Emilia
purposes,
Clarke.
for visual purposes
the Dragon
only.
Princess.
Oh,
the Mother of Dragons.
The Mother of Dragons.
She's hot. Shut your mouth.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
She's hot, but she's not like
that's the
a
only
good actress.
thing. She's beautiful enough.
She doesn't need to be a good actress. She's hot.
She's like Gal Gadot.
She is in this movie. you will die, sir. Do not talk about Gal
There's a
Gadot
big black man next
fine.
to you right now. Wakanda forever.
Listen, but she's in that movie because she's the mother of dragons. She's beautiful. They're like, we need a
Show
big
some respect, bro.
Yeah,
she's mother of dragons, liberator of slaves everywhere.
I'm just saying she's not a good actress.
Well, neither is the actor
like
who plays Han Solo.
It's a movie full of not good actors.
Yep.
But
it's Star Wars.
If you think about it, there are actually very few good actors and actresses
nowadays,
and they don't really have to be because the stories and the movies are so stupid.
Yeah,
it's like
real quick. Speaking of which, Forrest Whitaker in Black Panther. Anyone like him? Hate him?
I thought it was great, but did you notice that his droopy eye was?
What is going on with his eye?
I think they CGI fixed it.
Yeah.
Why did he tell? Like he died for no reason.
Yeah,
like he didn't. He just offered up his life for no reason.
Yeah, he didn't want Black Panther to die.
The guy that played him in 1990. No, sorry. Forrest Whitaker was not that young in 1990.
That was a little
incongruous.
You're like 30 years old in 1990.
That again is some suspension of disbelief stuff because it's like
that made me laugh. Like it didn't.
Yeah.
Like I don't hold it against it. It just made me laugh.
He could have been Forrest Whitaker's child at that age.
Yeah,
Forrest
that
Whitaker.
That kid was like easy 19 in that movie.
Not a teenager.
Or at least they should have given him like a super droopy eye, so it's him.
CG the eye.
Like it's just falling out of the socket. It's like in his cheek.
What happened to his eye?
You know what? You should never.
They do all that bullshit CG with like Robert Downey Jr's parents. Remember all that?
Oh, yeah,
like,
when he
young
was,
Michael
like,
Douglas
young.
and Kirk Russell. Like they should have did that with Forrest Whitaker.
Oh,
yeah.
Wait. Side note. Did you guys see that they? I don't know.
See, that's racist right there. They would spend that kind of money on Robert Downey, but not on Forrest Whitaker.
Did you guys see the preview for the new Ant-Man movie?
Yeah.
What did you guys think of it so far?
I actually liked Ant-Man.
I liked Ant-Man, but now it's like Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah,
and it's like, okay, enough, Ant-Man. Just put, he had his story, so let him be in Infinity War like the other 2,000 superheroes they're going to put in it, and then.
Can I bitch about something else real quick?
Yeah,
I'm like this movie a little bit. I'm tired of whoever the superhero is. The villain is the same thing. Like in. Like Ant-Man fought like another Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Or like Spider-Man and Venom kind of thing.
Yeah, and Black Panther fights another Black Panther at the end. I'm like,
yeah.
Do we need the symmetry, like the exact same thing? Can we change that up a little bit?
The whole thing with the comic books is that the superhero is like you can't beat Superman. It's like and it seems like in the movies. Like Iron Man, Captain America, Thor.
Iron Man fought another Iron Man.
Yeah, everyone. I
think the message there is at the end of the day, your ultimate like arch nemesis is yourself, your own dark self.
It could be, but like everyone except that they stay true to the Hulk. They're like nobody beats the Hulk.
Yeah, the Hulk doesn't.
Yeah, the Hulk
doesn't
not
have
lose.
like a Bizarro Hulk.
There's a Bizarro Hulk.
There is a Bizarro Hulk.
There's the Red Hulk, but
there you go.
But
Kami is the Kami Hulk.
The opposite color of green.
Yeah,
green stands for capitalism, the color of money, and Red Hulk is the Kami Hulk.
Yeah, but the Red Hulk hasn't been in the movies yet. Like there's been nothing like he'll
get his own spin-off series.
They even made reference to the fact that maybe like you kind of get the idea that maybe Thor can take on the Hulk, but it's like no, you actually can't. And like in Ragnarok, Hulk just decides not to kill him. It's like it is what it is. So, but I understand what you're saying. They make the superheroes like they get their ass kicked through half of the movie, and then somehow at the end of the movie they get better. and then they win. Like
or they win by dumb luck. Or
yeah, well, like at the end of this one, he did some crazy move, and then he was able
out
to
front of a train.
Yeah, something. So who knows? But the point is, if you're gonna, and I'm this way too. If you're gonna watch a superhero movie like that, you're just not gonna enjoy it. Unless you can say, okay, you can sit there. It's kind of like
change it up a little bit.
Yeah, it's kind of like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Never seen it.
It's a great movie, but I always said
the sequel's terrible.
Yeah, the sequel's ridiculous. But I always said you have to go to that movie and you have to watch it like you are a 10-year-old child and your Chinese grandfather is telling you a fable.
Yeah, that's the thing. When you go into these movies, you literally have to be in that mindset. You have to be in a mindset of put yourself at your 10-year-old self. Yeah. You can't view it as an adult like we are.
I don't know about that. Like, there's something weird about going into movies like, well, you got to put your dumb hat on.
All of them like
before
that.
you go in. And
except Annihilation. That's
all of them.
Clever.
That's highbrow.
That's going to be highbrow.
Any science fiction movie or fantasy stuff, it's like you have to put on your dumb hat. You really do. Otherwise, you're just going to be like, eh.
No, not. I mean, most. Yeah, that's what I liked about.
I hated Blade Runner.
About Ex Machina is that was not a dumb hat movie. That was a smart hat movie.
Yeah, yeah. And so Wind River too. Wind River was just like this straight ahead, like kind of hardcore story.
Right.
Everything in there could possibly happen. There's some stuff you learn like about. You can't go running through the woods when it's that cold because you'll just die.
Oh, like it is in San Diego right now. It's like 54 degrees. You could die out there.
Yeah, guys. So 54 is equivalent to -8 degrees in San Diego weather.
You could die very easily,
especially with that breeze. Oh.
Also, Black Panther. I like his clothes. I want those suits.
Did you want the sandals?
I dig those.
What are those? Why are you wearing open-toed sandals in my laboratory?
Would you choose the gold necklace or the silver necklace?
Ooh, there you go.
I don't wear jewelry.
But you have to choose one.
You have to choose. That's your suit.
I would take the silver.
I would do that. Yeah, gold's a little too flashy.
Yeah.
So black and purple, like
the black suit he had at like the end of the movie. That was cool.
Dude, but that's if you wear the silver, people are just going to think you're a bouncer. If you got the gold, they'll think you're the manager.
Oh, that actually brings a very valid point. Actually.
I also wouldn't wear sandals. Nobody should wear sandals. You don't go walking around in public with your toes hanging out. That's unsightly and unsanitary.
Oh my gosh!
All right, so Annihilation next.
Yeah,
I'm down for that. Yeah, do something different.
I think that's this month, next couple of weeks, right?
Yeah,
next week or two.
Yeah, a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think it's going to start picking up.
We've
like
seen
little
tidbits. We've seen enough dumb shit. Let's go for something.
You guys want to take a break till May?
No, we're going to see Annihilation.
Well, you know what? Actually, we should do one before the Academy Awards.
Like what would you recommend?
Do you want to review the Academy
Awards? We should review the Academy Awards.
We did that last year.
Wait a minute. Didn't we talk about going live while the Academy Awards was actually on and we were watching it? But that's a long show.
That's a lot of drinking.
That's a lot of drinking.
We can do that. It's on a Sunday, right? That would be so. That would be so.
Have to take the Monday off.
I think it's 2 weeks from now.
I would totally take Monday off if we could do this.
I don't really want to watch the Academy Awards.
But if you're around with people
them.
that are drunk, like just criticizing it, because that's what is. Who knows? Maybe Warren Beatty will fuck up again and say the wrong thing.
I tell you,
it's not on him.
We definitely
we got to take a shot every time a movie that deserved to win didn't win.
We definitely don't want to. I think The Shape of Water is going to win everything. That's a great movie.
I don't think it's a good movie. I don't think it's going to win everything.
But honestly,
it's going to be Songbird that's going to win.
I can tell you right now, we do not want to watch the Academy Awards this year. Because it's going to be endless speeches about the state of the world that I don't want to hear. It's like, you are an actor. Take your fucking award and say thank you.
I'd like to talk about gun violence. I'm important. Listen to me now.
I don't. And listen, while we're on this, I get it. I get it. You want to. You have
gun violence is wrong. I'm here to accept this reward based on this gun violence.
Yeah, you have a platform, and you want to.
Yeah, you want to voice your opinion.
But I don't want to hear what George Clooney has to say about. It's like you don't walk in the same footsteps as I do, George. And
you're a few $1 million richer than I am.
And I get it. You're a good guy for speaking out about this, but honestly, when they. It's like you don't, but it's like you don't. You're an actor. You don't actually know what you're talking about. You don't understand world politics. Neither do I. You know, but it's like you don't know what you're talking about. So just be quiet and take your award. Same thing. Oprah Winfrey. I don't want to hear what Oprah Winfrey has to say.
Sounds like Shark wants to get in a Facebook fight with George Clooney
and Oprah Winfrey.
He's got more money than me. I just want to go stay at his place.
Shark,
in Italy.
When I start becoming more of a famous actress, I'm going to take you with me to some premieres, and you can use me as a platform.
I will be your voice.
Okay.
I will be your voice. Miss Gorgon is only answering questions about the film.
He's my bodyguard, y'all. So
we will be answering questions about the film. Other than that, stay the hell away.
But if Gal Gadot comes, I'm screwed.
You're done. Yeah. You're done.
Whatever.
Oh my God! It's a gunman. Protect Gal.
Screw you, Shark. I thought we were friends.
I will drag you along with me. I'll try to.
She'll use you as a body shield for Gal Gadot.
Amy, grab my hand. We're going to protect Gal Gadot.
Get away from my wife.
All right. Okay. We're just about out of time. You guys want to wrap this up?
Yeah.
Overall, I loved Black Panther. I thought it was a great movie. Go see it. I thought it was very slick.
It's better than any Marvel movie that's coming out later this year.
Very true.
I'll go ahead and stand by that.
I think it's better than any Marvel movie we've seen thus far.
It's actually in my top 3. I highly recommend.
Except Logan.
And
Logan
was very good. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Top 3.
And
Logan's not Marvel.
It grossed $426 million.
Oh, I thought it was still 200 and something over
426.
Is that worldwide?
Worldwide, and it's broken all kinds of records. And so.
Nice.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, guys. This is Rekt Reviews on EnterTalkRadio.com. Catch you next time.
Have a good night.
Laters.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al Di Meola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear from Eclectica Studios. I'm a full-time mixing and recording engineer. I work with Grammy winners, labels, and indie artists, using state-of-the-art digital mixing and restoration tools and the very best in analog gear. Really, though, it's my ability to bring tracks to life and fulfill your vision for your music. This has made me sought after by producers and artists worldwide. So spend your time working on music and not chasing a mix down a rabbit hole. Go to timdolbear.com and check out our free one-song mix offer.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. Pitbullaudio.com.